Hello ladies and gents, boys and girls, my name is Jack, welcome back to the Bike Channel and welcome back to the streets of London. Still on the Thruxton TFC. I thought about the Ninja H2 today, but I thought against it, and I think that was a wise decision because we're going to be doing a lot of start and stopping along this route. Where are we? We're at the junction of Pall Mall and Cleveland Row. Which can only mean one thing: we're right opposite St James's Palace, which is an old Tudor palace right next to Buckingham Palace. Still an official royal residence, and it was built at the order of Henry VIII in 1500s, I think. And here it is, and it's home to a lot of princesses at the moment. Princess Anne, I think, Princess is it Beatrice and Alexandra? I don't know, but here it is anyway, St James's Palace. It's just down the road from where we finished our video last week, which was the Ritz, which is just up there. So let's get going and get on the move. So clear all around, someone on his roller skates. Okay, so we're going to continue to the right here. Up that way is the Ritz. Normally that road would be open, that leads through to the Mall, and then that would take you off to Clarence House, which is where Prince Charles lives, and also Buckingham Palace, which is the Queen's official London royal residence. At the moment we're riding along Pall Mall, which will take us up to Trafalgar Square. And this building here to the right, this one up here, it's a Royal Automobile Club. Royal Automobile Club is where I used to work, and it's a very famous members club, and they do lots of cool things that are car orientated. So in the foyer they have a brand new car put on display, and it's snuck in the middle of the night by a team of people. So there's a brand new car in the morning for everyone when they get there. Go on mate, you can go. Okay, so we're at the foot of Regent Street. Here's the Institute of Directors I mentioned last time. To the right we've got another members club, and I think that's a statue of King George at the top of there, but I may be mistaken. Bottom of Haymarket, so to the left would be Piccadilly Circus, but it's a one-way street, and straight over in that direction is the National Gallery, which has works of art paintings from all over the world. This is the fourth plinth on Trafalgar Square, so they do something different on there all the time, and normally an artist, different artists every so often gets to put one of their works on there. So you can get all kinds of strange things. Here we are on Trafalgar Square, so we've got Nelson's column above us, and down there is Whitehall. It's where all the government buildings are, but we are going to find our way onto the Strand, which is where there's a lot of famous theatres, and we're going to work our way to the east out towards St Paul's Cathedral, and Tower of London. This building here is St Martin in the Fields, which is just a very famous church in London. And straight ahead is Charing Cross Station. This thing standing in front of Charing Cross Station, I believe at the time it was built, was meant to be the centre point of London. So here we are on the Strand. If we were to take a left up this way, it's would take us to a place called Covent Garden. It's a really beautiful little area, like a market. And they do it up very nicely at Christmas. As you can see, we're starting to come across, I mean, there's Back to the Future at the Adelphi Theatre. We've got Mischief movie night in this one. Dolly Parton, 9 to 5 over there. So lots of different... here's the Savoy in there, which is a very famous hotel, one of the most famous in London. I looked up last night, they've got a room in there you can rent for £15,000 a night, which is the Royal Suite. It's a very famous place during the Second World War because they did lots of radio broadcasts from there and balls and things like that to keep up the spirit of Londoners during the Blitz and that sort of thing. I've got a little traffic light here, but shouldn't be too long. Further up I can see the entrance to Somerset House. Fortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to drive past the front of it today. I can see a lot of roadworks here, but I'll probably put up a still just so you can have a good look at it. At Christmas time or winter time, they put up a massive ice rink, but for the rest of the year, it's used very much as a events venue, and they do open air cinema in the summer and all this kind of thing. And had a bit of a mind melt because it does have a more official use, but I can't remember it just at the moment. It's going to let me go. Okay, we've got the Waldorf Hotel off to the left hand side here. Another very famous and posh hotel. As we work our way back around to the top of the Strand and then on to Fleet Street. It's just down here. So yeah, we've missed Somerset House unfortunately, but I hope the stills were good enough. Here is the Royal Courts of Justice, which is a famous court in London. We're also going to check out the Old Bailey as well as we get a little bit further down. It's like a video game riding around London. So anyway, we're on Fleet Street. Fleet Street was famous for being the home of all the news media over the years. So all of the newspapers and magazines and all that sort of stuff were all to be found along here. Historically, as we get St Paul's coming into view straight ahead. We've also got some of the skyscrapers of the city. I can see the cheese grater. I'll pop up a picture of that so you get a better look as I fight my way down to the front of the traffic. We're going to take a left here, which would take us up the Old Bailey, and that will allow us to have a look at the criminal courts, which is where they hold massive and very famous trials. The road is actually called the Old Bailey. Here it is on the right here. Just coming into view now, Central Criminal Court. The road is called the Old Bailey, but in fact the court itself is the Central Criminal Court. But in the UK they have slipped the name to the Old Bailey as a sort of nickname. So we go around the houses and join back up with Fleet Street. So orientation wise, death down to the right there would have been going back on ourselves, back towards the West End, but we're heading in towards the city. As my favourite building in the city comes into view, which is St Paul's Cathedral. Designed by the famous British architect Christopher Wren, Sir Christopher Wren. It's widely renowned as his masterpiece. We can just carry on from the looks of things. Beautiful building. It's got something called a whispering gallery. So the dome at the very top, if I can show you from here, but the dome right at the top is a whispering gallery. So you can stand on one side of it and whisper, and the person standing on the other side will hear you. And the other thing is as well, certainly at the time of building, and it might even still be the case, but the dome is the largest self-supporting dome in the world, I believe. During the Blitz in World War II, people actually stood on the top of that building, putting out the incendiary bombs that were dropped by the Nazis. And there's a very famous photo. It survived the war completely, and there's a very famous photo with London burning all around it, and it's still standing. I'm going to join Queen Victoria Street and head well and truly into the city. The city is a square mile. It's a financial district of London. Almost nobody lives in the city. I think they have a population of about 20,000 or something, really, really low. And this is pretty much the engine of the British economy. Because Britain's economy is very services based and primarily financial services based. We're starting to get some much higher buildings in the city here as we approach from the southwest, I guess. Now there's the cheese grater. I hope you can see that. Sometimes it's difficult for me to figure out if from down there you can see what I can see, but in London a lot of the skyscrapers are named after what they look like. So you've got the Scalpel, the cheese grater, you've got the walkie-talkie, which is just up there. If I go back, you'll definitely see it. All kinds of things. So we're going to swing a right here. Off to the left, that's the Bank of England. As we head down towards Monument. So we're actually in the oldest part of London. This dates back to the very, very beginnings. And London Bridge, which is where we're heading to, is actually where it all began, really, many years ago. You can see the top of the monument there. which is the monument to the Fire of London. Now we're going to try and ride slowly down it as we look to the left, and there it is. So the monument to the Fire of London. As we move ahead, we're going to be crossing London Bridge. London Bridge is a very unspectacular bridge, just a sort of 60s concrete kind of thing. So we see the Shard off to the left hand side, and we see Tower Bridge with HMS Belfast in the foreground, with good views of the City of London over my left hand shoulder. Very famously, an American wanted to buy London Bridge, but he thought he was buying Tower Bridge. So when he came up with an offer to the government of Britain at the time and said, I want to buy London Bridge, and this is the original London Bridge, the British government, they scratched their heads and said, are you sure you want to buy that bridge, because it's a bit rubbish? And he said, yeah, I want the London Bridge, and he went Tower Bridge, and it ended up getting shipped out to Arizona, and when it was built he came and saw it, and it turned out that he bought the wrong bridge, and that bridge is still to this day over in Arizona. And just over there's a little beefeater character with a Union Jack flag behind him. That's actually a mate of mine who drew that. His name's Nathan Bowen. I might put his link, or a link to his website down below. He does lots of these interesting little characters with British-based backgrounds and things. So this is London Bridge Station with the Shard directly above us. Here's the underground station element of it. Just round the corner here, used to be in these arches a famous tourist attraction called the Tower of London. The London Dungeons. But they've shipped that now over to where the London Eye is. This is Tooley Street. Again, we're really into old London now. Just up there, in that direction, is where the Mayor of London works, right on the river. As we make our way down the back roads towards Tower Bridge. Tower Bridge, the design of Tower Bridge, the very iconic design of Tower Bridge, it was built in Victorian times, and they actually had a competition where people submitted their designs for the bridge. So all kinds of different quirky, interesting designs. There's the Mayor of London's office there. All kinds of quirky designs were thought up. And they ended up settling on the current design that you very famously imagine when you think of Tower Bridge. Now I've started my indicator to go left, turn onto the bridge. I haven't been down this way for quite some time, so I'm not really sure if I've got this right, but hopefully this left turn will take us over the bridge. Hopefully we'll make it over London Bridge on the basis that the bridge, yes, there it is, thank God for that. The bridge raises and falls depending on if there's a ship coming in. So the barriers will drop down, stop all the pedestrians, stop all the traffic 5 minutes before the the ship sails through. And bridge raises, amazing piece of engineering from back in the day. It goes under and then it lowers and then it all opens up again. Yeah, this green light, off we go. Undertaken by a Volvo. Stunning looking bridge. I think it's the most beautiful bridge in the world. Now directly above us you'll see a walkway. That is a pedestrian walkway. It's a bit of a tourist attraction. Not yet, as we pass the first tower. You see Canary Wharf off to the right hand side. But you can see some glass bits of floor there. And as a tourist you can go up there and stand on there and it all looks a bit scary. Off to the left we've got the Tower of London. And the Tower of London started life as a palace for William the Conqueror. The White Tower, which is this bit right in the middle here, you can see with the stuff on the top, the sort of wind direction stuff with the, I'm not describing this very well, with the Union Jack in the middle. That's the White Tower. That was built all the way back in 1078. And they basically layered on different sections of it as and when it was required. Down there in the green is where the moat is, or was, and they used to have all kinds of foulness in there to stop people attacking it. At one point it became a bit of a prison, but it was only a prison for important people, aristocracy and all that sort of thing, people like Anne Boleyn during Henry VIII's time, and of course a lot of executions occurred in these walls as well. The last execution that ever occurred in here was as recently as the Second World War. A German spy was shot in the grounds of the Tower of London. It's one of Britain's biggest tourist attractions. I think about 2.5 million people visit it every single year, and you can get shown around by the wardens, which are called the beefeaters, the yeoman wardens. And just through there we can see the front of where the mayor works, City Hall. Heading back towards the city. That's where I'm going to leave the video for today, because I didn't want to overdo it. Just wanted to give you a nice idea of what that little ride from one palace to one ancient palace looked like. On, of course, the Thruxton TFC. There's Monument again through the gap there. Thank you for watching, thank you for supporting the channel. If you haven't seen it already, go back to part 1. That's a nice long video looking at the West End of London. And I will have a think and see how successful this video is. I'll have a think about maybe doing a part 3 where we go even further east, out towards a bit more of a mix of ultra modern and ultra old in that we can head down towards Canary Wharf and also Greenwich, which is where the Royal Navy is historically based. Until then, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you like the content, and I'll see you back here on the bike channel, in the garage and out on the road very soon. Thanks for watching, goodbye.